Hello, you guys. Dr. Melanie Carlo here, and today I want to talk about resetting through the somatic body if you have chronic pain. Because the tendency when we have chronic pain is to kind of fall into despair that something's broken, something's really wrong with us. But what if we really embraced, like deeply embraced, the fact that much chronic pain comes because our system has been protecting us? It's been trying to help, and the only way that it can do that is by tightening up. And what if you could actually interact and talk to the system of this symphony of elements that's our body and show it a new way to release? So today I want to pair the somatic repatterning that I know and love with another layer of cognitive, emotional truth-telling that pairs the body, the physical body, and the cognition and our emotions into a combination that can literally change everything. So many of you know I'm Melanie Carlo, physical therapist. I've been doing somatics for years. And I find myself in this beautiful place of being able to keep my own learning journey to look at restoring balance in the nervous system, in the fascia, in our spirits, in our intellect, because it's a journey that I've been on myself. So it comes from really a deep place of wanting to look at the cognitive, emotional part of us, the physical part of us, and how we can move to teach our body that we're safe. So these practices bring a mental, an emotional, and a physical awareness into the same conversation. And when you do that, it's kind of like having a bunch of holes in your roof and your roof is leaking. You can't just plug one hole and go, well, that didn't work. Take that one out, plug another one. Many times we have to actually address full self-care of plugging numerous holes, having all of them in the same conversation. And then when things start to align, the pain no longer needs to protect you. And then our spiritual body, that part of us that connects us to a higher energy, this mystery of why are we even here? Like, it's so beyond understanding how we can even have this life, be drawing this breath, be made up of these elements that made up the dinosaurs, drinking water that was drunk by the sages and the cavemen. I mean, it's really interesting. So that spiritual connection that we also have is such an important piece to come in, because when we unblock on all these levels, then we can be authentically who we really are. And the body can step into the power and the source energy that it has to actually heal. So make sure you have a notebook, a pen, and a comfortable place on the floor or sitting in a chair, which is where I'm going to do it. And let's begin. So the first one, bringing some awareness. Why do you still hurt? Chronic pain is not a purely mechanical issue for both people. That doesn't mean you don't have abnormalities or differences in your anatomy, because you can show that on PET scan and MRI and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting how many people can have MRIs, and there's many studies you can look up where they've looked at thousands of people who have extraordinary abnormalities, differences on their MRI, and they don't have any pain. So what is it when pain is actually arising from these abnormalities? Well, let's look at it as a protective strategy. This is when the nervous system, especially when it locked in a thought at the time of injury, picks up old fear or anticipation of pain, unresolved emotions around the injury itself or something that might have happened previously to it, the overwhelm of the system to not be able to manage and integrate what's happened, particular tendencies that we have towards perfectionism or thinking things have to be a certain way, needing to control it because things have been out of control in your past. Not because you're wrong or you're uptight or anal, but because there's actually a reason for that. And there's a sense of not enoughness. What you have, your resources are not enough, because at the time that thought formed, you didn't. You were probably quite young and you didn't have it. And you didn't have the attunement of an elder or a community that saw you, that you saw having your back. So be kind to yourself in these practices. If you notice that you tend to want to people please or kind of fawn in order to feel safe and make sure things are okay, that's another indication that you had to make decisions when you were younger to try to stay safe. And the body keeps remembering it. Constant responsibility that you had for others. All these early life stressors that weren't resolved because you just didn't have the resources as a child to try to figure it out. And so what was then a brilliant strategy, and if you go back and really give compassion to that young one, it was brilliant. You figured out ways to try to stay safe, but as they repeat themselves in your primitive nervous system, it just isn't so brilliant now, is it? And it all goes into that primitive brain and stays locked in there as a danger signal, only ever trying to help you. But that increases muscle tension and underlying anxiety hormonal levels as a shield. So, I've talked before and love referring back to the 3 reflex patterns our primitive brain holds. There's the red light reflex, kind of like stop, don't go, where we tend to collapse. The front of the body line protects ourselves, and we collapse into a protection mode that can cause our chest to cave in, our shoulders to roll forward, the diaphragm to tighten, the head to get pulled forward or drop. The breathing becomes quite shallow. There's often stomach issues, knots in your stomach, and it can show up in grief. It can show up in shame, fear, chronically pushing yourself and your emotions down. So this is the red light reflex. And just when I see people walking around at a supermarket or whatever, you can see the chronically held pattern over the years starts to have that effect on the front of the body, and people become rounded in their back and shortened in their front. There's a lot you can do about that. All right, so that's red light reflex. Green light reflex. This is a bracing, or when we go into overt effort. And it's interesting, you'll often see this personality type, this archetype, in fields of service like being in the military or the police or, undercover agents, people that are really tend to brace and hold themselves very stiff. The back of the body gets very tight. The chin pulls in, the shoulders squeeze back, you're tight in your glutes, your legs tend to rotate outwards like you're ready for action, ready for war. And this is I'll handle it, I'll push through kind of patterning. So often there's that external rotation and push forward in the rib cage, and that makes it difficult to flex. It causes a lot of tension in the low back. And very often it's not one or the other, it's a combination. So let's be straight about that. Then there's a third one that manifests in all different kinds of ways, which is a trauma reflex, where you've had one thing happen, like I broke my right leg and I had a heavy cast. For years, I had to hike my right hip up. And so one hip goes up, one shoulder rotates, right? Hip goes up, shoulder rotates. My gait becomes uneven. These are old injuries that get stored in one part of the body, and then when they flare, when there's a trigger, they tend to flare in that area. People who say, I can feel when the bad weather comes because I always get an ache here or there. That's actually where there's a tendency to chronic tensioning, and the pressure change shows that up. So the trauma reflex shows up when the body's protecting you asymmetrically. And here's the thing, you are not imagining it. It's not stuck in your brain. You are your brain. You are your emotions. We are this representation of everything inside, all these bits and parts of us. You're not broken. You're simply patterned. And once seen, you can't unseen it. And here's the very cool thing. Patterns can be changed. It's amazing. So let's talk first. I'm really keen about this idea that first you come in and you give room for the emotional body, the conscious brain, to uncover subconscious patterns in the emotions and thinking laid down long ago. Let's think about that. Ones that may be triggering and coming up now, feels like that person in front of you, or that person who cut you off in traffic, or that teacher who's always giving you a hard time, or your mother always saying that thing, but actually it has roots deep in the past. So there are 2 very powerful tools that we're going to go into. One is using journaling, and I'm so inspired by the work of Nicole Sachs, licensed social worker. I don't have her book right here. It's called, That's embarrassing. I don't have the book right here, but you'll hear me talk about her more. Nicole Sachs, S-A-C-H-S. Wonderful person to tune into, follow. She has a modality called JournalSpeak. And she came up with this after doing work with Dr. John Sarno, who wrote one of the initial mind-body connection books from way back about understanding the mind-body connection. And his belief, what he saw, is that many people are holding rage. Well, it's interesting. Nicole has beautifully evolved this because it doesn't have to just be anger or rage. That was probably his issue. There are many emotions that can go into this holding. And who knows best but you? So being able to journal, to define and clear through a repetitive practice the emotional and cognitive charge inside of your body, and then bring in movement, physical movement, that draws on those 3 reflexes that I was talking about, the red light, the green, and the trauma, and give a physical voice, not just a written voice, but a physical voice to what may be holding you into certain ways of moving and forgetting to be able to even do others. These 2 things together can accelerate clearing physical patterns that you didn't think would ever change. And all of a sudden, chronic pain begins to unwind. It's so powerful. So let's go into it. First, I want to talk through the lens of JournalSpeak, what Nicole Sachs calls JournalSpeak. It's such a brilliant but simple practice. So you're going to create 3 lists. So if you're doing it right here with me, feel free to shut off the computer at appropriate times. Take about a minute, and you're going to make 1 minute for each list. Here's an important thing. Nobody looks at this. As a matter of fact, you should destroy it afterwards. You don't even need to look at it again. It is the physical getting it out. It's not doing therapy around it. It's not, showing it. I mean, of course you can show it to your therapist, but it's really encouraged that it be so safe that it's just for you. So 3 lists. Childhood past stressors. Anything that comes up in your life where you felt scared, unseen, responsible, alone, confused about what's going on, just mark it down. Do it bullet point, okay? So take a minute now. Write that list. Then you're going to take about a minute and you're going to mark down daily stressors. What's going on in the world right now? Again, bullet point, only for you. That shows up as being a cause of stress. Maybe it's issues around money or in your relationship or in your parenting. Issues around your health or chronic pain, around work and your workload, being overstimulated in the environment, whatever it is, bullet point. Mark it down. Take about a minute. And then the last one, and this can be one of the hardest ones, but very enlightening, mark down your personality traits. Take about a minute and just notice, how much do you try to people please? Or do you get angry and push people away? Is there a level of perfectionism you have where things have to be just right and you try to control that to make sure that things are okay? Do you try to really be good and be seen as being a good person? Do you take on a lot of responsibility for other people and things maybe that aren't even your business? Do you hold a fear of conflict and tend to withdraw or freeze? Don't think about it, just list it. Notice your personality traits. Okay? All right. Now you're going to take those 3 lists of your personality traits, the daily stressors, and the ones that you remember from way back, and lay them out in front of you. And you're going to pick one. Just one. One that comes to mind, one that's jumping out at you, or the one that you're chronically avoiding is often the one that will help you the most. So pick one, and you're going to set a timer for 20 minutes. And in these 20 minutes, you're going to start to write. You put down your pen, and whatever comes out is perfect. Uncensored, raw, incomplete, just messy truth. It's not polite. It's not spiritual. You'll probably start off being kind of cognitive and, trying to be right about it or do it right. Just let it rip. Actually, from the viewpoint of an emotional 5-year-old who doesn't really care what you think. They're just having emotions. Don't refine it. Just make it real. Think about saying things your body has been holding onto. If anger shows up, great. Sadness shows up, perfect. If nothing shows up, stay anyway, because that is the work. You're not writing for accuracy, you're writing for release. So go ahead and just keep going. Pause our work here and come back after 20 minutes. Right? Did you do it? Often we resist it, so that's also an indicator that this is something important for you. If you want something different, you got to do something different. All right, now take those pages. You got your 20 minutes pages. I can write 4 pages in 20 minutes. Tear them up, rip them into little pieces. Enjoy it. You're done. Now I want you to get onto the floor in your chair because the body is more opening for repatterning. So now let's meet the patterns in the body after you've gone through a cognitive, also somatic process to identify emotions. So lying on your back, knees bent, or sitting in your chair, we're going to gently curl inward. Let your head, your arms, your belly button come towards your spine, rock to the back of the pelvis, flatten, roll those shoulders forward. If you're laying down, lift the body a little bit. Keep breathing into the low back, but feel the contraction. You can push your heels away from you a little bit and you'll feel the front of the legs tighten. Just curl and feel it. Breathe softly in the low back as you feel it, and now let it go. 5. Breathing 4, slowly open. 3, let your arms relax, chest expand. 2, and 1. Curve back in the lower back, chest open, and just feel. Okay, we're going to do it about 3 times. So again, red light reset, what I call flowering inwards. So you're going to collapse that bud of you. You're going to push with your heels, pull your belly button in, roll the shoulders, tighten. You could grip your perineal muscles, pull your belly in, round your shoulder, tighten your chin. If you're laying down, lift up a little bit and feel it. Keep breathing so your body knows you're safe, but really feel those muscles. And now slowly, under your conscious control, let them go. 5. Breathing off, and a big breath comes here. 2, 1. Totally soft. Let the body feel. It is really okay to totally unfurl and unfurl under your own conscious control. All right? Isn't that powerful? So if you need to, go ahead and do it one more time. I usually say 3 repetitions. So red light, front of the body, conscious contraction. All right, now let's look at a green light reset. This is where you're going to activate the back of the body. This is when there's bracing or over-efforting, you have too much of a curve in your low back, chronic low back tension, right? So for this one, lying down, you're going to lie face down and turn your head so you're looking in your elbow. If you're sitting, you're going to sit and do the same thing. Look into your elbow, and you're going to slowly turn your head and pull your shoulder back to the opposite hip. If you're laying on your belly, you're going to lift up off the mat and turn. And you're going to feel this tensioning in the back, and then very slowly, softly, smoothly, if you can, let it go. And notice the echo of those back muscles that were working and of releasing so slowly, it's like melting into the floor. Let's turn the other way. Head turns. You're on your belly, you're slowly going to lift up and turn, lift, and feel the pull. I'm pulling my left shoulder down to my right hip. Breathe, feel it. And then softly, slowly, smoothly as you can, let it go. You're teaching your back. You don't need to be on duty all the time. Now, when you do this, be gentle, right? It doesn't need to be done hard. It's better, actually, if you do it slowly and smoothly. Then let's try one more where you put your forehead on your hands, and you're going to arch and lift up off the floor, or arch your back and push my hands into my forehead in my hands, and lean backwards. Lift the shoulders, pull, breathe, and softly. 5, breathing. 4, 3, melting 2, and 1. And now let your awareness go to the back. Feel what it's like, the echo of no tension. And that's somatic repatterning. That's what recreates the neurologic new pathways you want to feel into. Beautiful. All right, the last one is the trauma reflex reset. And for this one, we're going to do a side curl. I actually like this one lying down, but I'm not going to do that right now. But lying on your side, lying on your right side, stack your knees. If you're sitting, put your knees together. And then you're going to open like a book. So I'm just going to slowly turn, and I'm pulling my right hip up towards my right armpit, let my arm go. And now I'm actually going to lift my hip. So if you're laying down, you're going to do a little sit-up sideways. Feel it? Breathe. You can't do it wrong, so just be gentle. And now let it melt. 5. Breathing in the low back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthening back out. And it's very interesting to feel the difference between one side and the other after doing just one side. So this resets old patterns of tension. Now we're going to do the other. So knees together, keeping them straight. I'm going to rotate around the other side, tensing, kind of lift my hip up. If you're laying down, you're actually going to lift your body and your hip, your armpit towards your hip. Breathe. And release. 5. Smooth. 3, 2, and 1. Pretty powerful. So you're telling your body that rotation is safe, movement is possible, confusion is great, and I can take care of myself. So if your range of motion starts to get pinched or feel uncomfortable, stop there. Be so kind to yourself. Give great attention to that place that feels tender and painful. Very lightly bring tension into it and then very consciously let it go. This is not a practice of suffering. This is a practice of deep kindness, the kind of attunement that you end up doing with yourself. Really powerful. All right, integrating. Put one hand on your low ribs, one on your belly, just across like this. And take some slow breaths into your back. Let your system just register what you did. Relax your shoulders, your neck, pushing the back ribs apart and back, and notice. What just happened is you spoke a truth that you've been carrying. You physically looked at it. You softened reflexes that might have been guarding you. You literally open a new space inside the fascia, space where structured water and the gel state of your body with fluid moving, the electrical battery you're intended to be, can all start to have a place again. It's the beautiful healing fabric of your body. You remind your nervous system, I'm safe now, and I can move differently. So I'm really passionate that this combination of emotional release, somatic repatterning is kind of the heart of healing chronic tension patterns. And of course there's other things. You have to look at your diet. What you eat becomes the fabric of what you are. All the processed foods, all of that. That's another video. But it is incredible how powerfully just these two things, identifying, connecting with old patterns in your daily life and your personality, and writing about it, letting whatever wants to come up, and then getting on the floor and actually working with the red light, the green light, and the side bend. Now, I don't know you guys personally unless you come for individual sessions, but you'll know the one, if you trust yourself, that is the most important for you, and maybe the most important that day in terms of movement. You don't have to do all the reflexes, but you can. And again, it's not forcing them. It's not perfection. It is presence. It's giving permission. It's being kind, the kind of kindness you would give to a child that's hurt. And in this way of deep kindness and being seen, patterns get interrupted and flow becomes restored. It is stunning how it works. So honestly, if this practice created even a moment of softness or breath or relief in a chronic pain situation, just honor that. You did something powerful. There's something possible. So if you want more support in reshaping these patterns, just subscribe. Watch my other videos. I'm really putting it out there. And it helps a lot when you comment. Let me know. This community is being built for healing and for truth, as I see it, coming through me. And I'm Dr. Melanie Carlo. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your body. Be kind to your heart. It remembers everything, and it can relearn everything too. See you later, Gaias.